Well, the Great Barrier Reef is facing probably two really serious problems. The first is climate change and the second is water quality. Now, in terms of climate change, all of the international scientists are saying that if we have a degree rise of between 1 and 3 degrees, which we're actually on track to have, then the Great Barrier Reef will suffer serious coral bleaching. Now, that'll have massive impacts on the tourism sector and all of the thousands of jobs that people work in around the reef. There's 63,000 people that have jobs associated with tourism on the reef. So it's really important that we deal with the impacts of climate change on the reef and that we try and reduce climate change as much as possible. The second issue that the reef is facing is water quality. Now, a lot of our farmers on the coast are starting to improve their practices, but there's still some that don't have the money or don't quite have the understanding of how to farm sustainably. So what we need to be doing is helping farmers to adopt better and more sustainable farming techniques so that things like soil and chemicals aren't washing off the farms into the reef. Well, if we continue to do nothing about climate change, then we face a serious prospect of the Great Barrier Reef being bleached in 30 years' time. Now, that's a very scary prospect. Currently, the reef brings in about $6 billion annually of profit, and that's a pretty substantial sum of money. It employs 63,000 people, so it's a really big employer, and it's a beautiful biodiverse icon that, as a Queenslander and as an Australian, I just take comfort in the fact knowing that it's there and that I can take my kids and grandkids to see it in years to come. And it's a huge attraction for Queensland with our international visitors. So it's crucially important that we protect the Great Barrier Reef from these sorts of threats. There's a number of things that we can do to try and stop damage to the Great Barrier Reef. The first is acting on climate change. Now, all of the science is telling us that we should be acting now, and yet we've still got our other parties, Labor and Liberal, saying, oh, let's not do anything until 2050, she'll be right, mate. Well, she won't be right, mate, we've got to do something now. So the Greens are saying, let's have some short-term targets to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and let's get some serious funding going towards renewable energy that's actually clean and green and can meet all the energy needs that we've got, but do it in a way that doesn't stuff up our planet. So acting on climate change is really important to save the Great Barrier Reef. And water quality issues are also needing our attention. We need to be giving farmers as much support as we can so that they know how to do the right thing with their farming practices and they've got the financial support to do that.